Hello, hello. I'm going to do a quick little video of Miss Bella. Let me grab her out of her crate real quick. I always like to let her settle down after bringing her in from the playgroups. Oh, good. Just because she comes in here ready to go. So, I can tell that she's already had a little bit of formal obedience. So really, it's been kind of going backwards a little bit, reestablishing a proper response to different markers, and just helping her slow down a little bit, be more mindful of what she's doing instead of just constantly reacting to everything happening around her. So, a marker is just a cue or sound that marks a specific moment in time that I like something that she does, and for her that's going to announce the arrival of food. So right now we're creating the association. Every time she hears this marker, food is presented, so that way that marker can then take on the good feeling of food every time she hears it. So I can mark the exact moment that I want to be rewarded, even if there is a little bit of time between her doing the behavior and me presenting food, and I don't want to reward anything that happens in between that step. So what I mean is, if I ask her to sit and she goes in, she goes into a sit, and then I go to get a treat out and she comes up out of her sit to get the food, I don't want that moment to be rewarded. So I want her to understand that when she goes into a sit, I'll mark that moment and then give her the reward. So right now, again, we have to create that association where marker equals food. So she has a couple of different markers that are going to have different meanings as far as expectation within behavior. So we have the word yes, good, okay, no. Yes, good, okay, those are going to be reward markers. Yes is going to be, I like what you did, come get something from me. So it's just marking that exact moment in time. She doesn't have to do anything past hearing that marker except come take food from me. And a lot of times I'll use that, or how I reward that will be, I'll say yes, and then I'll kind of move backwards quickly and tap into her prey drive a little bit, let her chase my hand, be really fun and playful. Yes will be something that I use to shape new behaviors, to build enthusiasm, to get her out of sticky situations. Moving forward, yes will always be followed with some type of reward so that it keeps its value up. Good and okay, those are going to be duration markers. So when I ask her to go into a behavior, I want her to remain in that behavior until I give her the release word, which is okay. So if I tell her to sit, as soon as her little butt hits the ground, I'll say the word good, treat. And then I can repeat that good treat, good treat, good treat, as long as I need to, or at the frequency that I need to keep her in behavior. And then when I'm ready for her to come out of behavior, I can say, okay, and move out of there. Hi. When I'm giving these markers, it is important that the verbal part of it happens first, and then I reach to give her food. So if I don't have the food in my hand, if I say yes, I want it to be yes, and then reach and grab food. If I already have it in my hand and I say yes, I want to then say yes, brief pause, offer the food, if that makes sense. So I don't want it to be yes like that and give her the food, because then she's responding to my movements. The reason for that is because I want my movement to be neutral. So if I ask her to go into a sit, I should be able to move around, good, sit, good. We're not there yet. That's too much. I want to be able to move around and all of those things with her remaining in behavior. So right now that's a process. As you saw, that was a little too much. You couldn't handle it. No big deal. So, hi. Excuse me, I was sick yesterday. So, good, remain in behavior. Okay, she can come out of behavior. In order for good to have the meaning of remain in behavior, me bringing food to her, there has to be that release marker saying that you can come out of behavior. And then there has to also be that no. If she breaks behavior too soon, I can say no. Right now I'm applying a little bit of leash pressure to guide her back into behavior. Good when she fixes it. So, Bella, sit. Good, meaning go into behavior. Good. Movement, good. So that is where we are right now. It's just kind of adding a little bit of movement here and there is good. And then, okay, she can come up out of behavior. Or, down, good, when she does it, I'll bring her food. And this is just good, helping her slow down a little bit and not being so reactive to everything happening around her. Good. I am also waiting for her to pay attention to me, look up at me, before I give her a reward. Good. And that's just kind of also building engagement with the behavior. No, you're on camera, don't lick your butt. Good. And right here, I can either release her with the okay, or I can, yes, build enthusiasm and behavior and be playful with her. Right now, it's all about motivation, playing around with different things where I want her to be really excited and enjoy it. And then there's also times where I want her to settle into behavior and just kind of hang out. So if I'm really trying to strengthen the behavior, I'll do a lot of those yes to make it really exciting, or down. If she's getting really worked up and crazy, or it's just not the appropriate time for her to be crazy, then I could just say, okay, and let her come out of behavior if she feels it. So see the difference there? That YES, so it's like, yeah, exciting, really fun, all the crazy stuff. And then, okay, was just more of, okay, I'm done doing this. So I'm gonna use those two different things to my advantage, depending on what I'm looking for within each situation. So if it's something where I need her to be a little bit more calm and chilled out, I'm gonna just do that neutral okay release, so that she can stay in a calmer state of mind. Or if I want to shape the behaviors, or maybe there's things happening around that she's a little bit distracted by, I can build her engagement and motivation with me by offering that YES marker and get her playing with me and being silly with me. It really just depends on what we're doing. Mostly, right now we've just been hanging out in the training room because she is so distracted by things happening around her. This coming up week we'll start going on gradually, increasingly more distracting situations. Usually I start out by walking around the kennel room in this neighborhood down the road that we'll go to, then we'll start going to Home Depot or PetSmart or the dog park or whatever, just to kind of get her to generalize each behavior in different contexts. Definitely been playing around with her crate, helping her settle and relax in there. I essentially use it the same as a behavior where I'll say, great, we're gonna go in there, and then good means you're gonna be in there for a little bit. Okay, you can come out when you're done. And I want her to understand that even if the door's open, if I say crate, you go in there. So we're working right now where I say crate, she goes in there. If I leave the door open, I'll say good. And if she tries to step out, then I can say no and stop her. And then okay, she can come out. So I want her to be more comfortable and not feel so enclosed and trapped so that she's not stressed out in there. And then we've also been, working on an out, where she moves away from me. Right now, the out is away from me. Eventually, it'll be outing away from whatever possession she has. I've also been playing around when she likes to grab the leash. And I think that's just a normal, cute lab. A lot of labs do that, where they like to walk themselves. Not too problematic, but I want her to know that if I tell her to out, that she lets go of it. Just in case there's ever a situation where I need to have better control over the leash, I want her to understand that she can't walk herself and create conflict with how I'm using the leash. So it's just something that I'd like her to understand what I'm asking when it's not, like we're teaching right now, where it's not a big deal. So that way if it is a big deal, it's immediately she removes possession of the leash. So nothing too exciting just yet. I really wanted to break things down for her to help her to understand exactly how I'm expecting things out of her and make sure she really understands everything before we move on to more serious stuff. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And I will continue to send updates. Great.